What is up, everybody? Colin here for another Shut Up No One Cares Get Back to Work podcast. I'm your host. I'm obsessed with being the best I can. I want to help you do the same. This show is about evergreen principles, big ideas that are not going to change, that you could be listening to a year from now, 10 or 50, at least until we get plugged in the matrix officially. These principles are things that you can use in your life to become better. And then I want you to be the best version you can be. And then you're going to lead by example, and other people are going to want to do that as well. And that's how we're going to make the world a better place. This is my little effort to do just that. 10 minutes or less. We're going to go for a big idea to talk about for a few minutes. And then I'm going to do the daily 6, which are some quick fire tips. And then I'm going to let you get back to your day. The big idea today is managing your perceptions. Here's a couple of the titles I came up with. You are what you think, and what you think starts with what you let in. Stop letting garbage into your head. How managing perceptions is the most important thing you do every day. But it's this idea of controlling your perceptions and the things that come into you. That's the thing I'm talking about today. The things that come into your life, whether they're news, podcasts, videos, YouTube, movies, your friends, your family, your coworkers, the things that you are around. And when people speak things and when you consume content, this is the inputs. Most people don't think about how the output they get in life is connected to their inputs, but that's actually the root. That's where you have to go first. You become, I'm sure you've heard the phrase, you become what you eat, or you are what you eat. It's the same thing. You become what you consume. You become the things that infect your mind. And most people don't consider how to put a wall up. They don't have standards. They just let people, whatever they want to do, say, talk about whatever. They go with the flow. They don't want to offend people, whatever. Nobody wants to be a negative Nancy. But the irony is you let negative Nancys then infect your brain with their negative nonsense. This should not be reserved just for the successful or the CEOs or the billionaires or the powerful. You need to have gatekeepers to what you let into your brain, and to your consciousness, and thus into your life. If you don't have gatekeepers, and if you don't have systems for holding off and keeping at bay things that try to get in there, whose life are you living? Who's choosing for you the life that you're going to get, and the things you're going to think, and the beliefs you're going to form? You're not choosing yourself when you do that. You're letting randomness choose, or even worse, other people that would actively try to influence you to do things that they want you to do, which may or may not be in your best interest. The world will try to mold you. It will try to shape you. And the thing it's shaping you into is not always the thing that you want it to shape you into. It's not the thing you want to become. If you don't have a strict, me first, choose myself, I love myself enough to be willing to say no, or change the subject, or walk away, or have rules to mitigate this type of nonsense and other people just spewing off their problems and their negativity and their complaints and their bad ideas, they're everywhere. And if you don't have rules for yourself, someone else is going to create rules for you. And you're not going to like who you become. I promise you that. We have negativity bias in this culture, from the news cycle to social media to just people in general. Humans are negative. We lean towards negativity. We come to negativity naturally because it's part of our ancestral past. We have a certain paranoia that's built into our species that looks for the things that are negative, because the things that are negative in nature are usually dangerous. They can kill you. This is why we so quickly gossip and go to things that are negative and complain and whatever. And it's toxic, it's insidious, and it infects your brain. And the more you do it and the more it's around you, the more you engage in it, the worse off you're going to be. And the more it's going to become the default operating system for your mind. And that is not what you want. All of us want to be happy, healthy, live long lives, have family, have friends, have relationships, have purpose. You don't get that if you let other people infect your brain. You have to be vigilant about what you let into your life. That's the big idea for today. This is something that is so huge, so profound, and so important. I hope you do something with this. I hope you start thinking about what you're letting into your life. Maybe certain friends you have to spend less time with, or even cull from your life. Maybe certain family members, you have to tell them, I'm not talking about that anymore. Or I don't want to hear about your complaints or your problems or whatever. Let's talk about some other things. Let's talk about things that are productive. It will be painful at times. But when you do it and it becomes who you are, then everybody around you adjusts and adapts, and that's who you are. And then nobody talks about it anymore. And people don't bring up their stupid shit to you. That's what you want. I've been doing this for so long that there's no confusion. Like, nobody's confused about the things that they can say or should say to me. People don't come to me with their problems. Like, they come to me if they want a solution, and I'll help them gladly. But they don't come to me with complaints and bitching and groping and griping. Because I'm going to tell them things they don't want to hear. I'm going to tell them stop bitching, stop griping, and do something about it. Super important concept. I can go on and on. This would be like an hour video. Let's get to the daily 6 and then get back to your life. And the call to action with this is today, start making a list of the things around you that you're letting into your life. Maybe it's certain Reddit forums that are maybe toxic, or the certain news channels or programs or people you follow or podcasts that are not necessarily good for you, or that put you in a state of stress or fear or whatever. Start making a list of these things. The people around you that seem to come to you with problems all the time, or gossip, or want to whatever. That stuff can be addicting. Like I said, humans want to focus on the negative because we think it's keeping us safe. But today it just ruins us. It rots our brain. So you have to be vigilant with it. Start making a list, and then start figuring out strategies for mitigating this. Having an honest conversation, changing the subject, walking away. If you want to be subtle with it, be subtle. But a direct approach usually works great as well. Just be like, you know what? I've been thinking, I don't really want to talk about negative stuff anymore. Like, you don't have to attack people. And if you come at them and you're aggressive and you blame them, they're going to take it that way. They're going to get defensive, and they're going to flip it around on you and try to blame you and shame you and guilt you and whatever. Instead, use like, I've been thinking, or, I don't really like talking about stuff. I kind of realize that I do it because I don't really pay attention to that it's happening, but I don't really feel good when we do it or afterwards. I don't want to do it anymore. So, do me a favor, just don't bring those up. Let's talk about something else. And then ask them a question. Tell me a few good things in your life. Tell me some things that are working out, that are awesome, that you're excited about. Let's start there. Let's build some positive momentum. Daily 6, the quote, keep constant guard over your perceptions, for it is no small thing you are protecting, but your respect, trustworthiness, and steadiness, peace of mind, freedom from pain and fear. In a word, your freedom. For what would you sell these things? And this is my boy, my stoic philosopher from another mother, Epictetus, in Disclosures. I got this from the Daily Stoic book by Ryan Holiday. Great book. I love Stoics. I mean, rewind that. Listen to that a few times. So powerful. He's basically saying your perceptions are your life. And that's what I was trying to get at with today's topic. Daily tip or recommendation. Figure out a productivity app. Stick with it. I use Asana as well as for Wild Foods. That's what our team uses. And Inbox, due date scheduling, having Kanban boards. There's a lot of different ways to use this, and it's beyond the scope of today's video. But I would highly, highly recommend picking one of these apps, having a basic inbox system, have a basic due date schedule and a processing, and then having time when you work on the important things that matter. It's a game changer. If you don't have a productivity system and you're just relying on your memory, you don't have a system. You have nothing. You have happenstance. That's not how anything gets done in life. That's not how anything gets built. And when you have a system and things come up and you can put them into your system and you can have the confidence that you're going to get to it, it's going to get done, whatever, it's so freeing and so empowering. I can't even fathom it. I can't even fathom that most people don't really have systems for what they do, let alone their actual work. Daily book recommendation, Getting Things Done by David Allen. You don't really need to read this book, but you probably should. You can read articles about the philosophy, and he's written articles, and people have analyzed the book, and they've done their own guides of how to do it. But basically, it's a productivity system. It's one of the most popular that most of these apps are based on, called Getting Things Done, or GTD for short. Highly, highly recommend learning about the philosophy and the methodology, and then using probably a loose framework of it or a strict framework, whatever works for you. That's the key. All right, daily health tip: gratitude. There's always something to be grateful for. You're alive. You're listening and or watching this right now. I got a buzzing in my ear. I don't really talk about it or think about it, but maybe it's tinnitus. I think that's what it's called. But it's something that when it's really quiet at night, if I really focus on it, it gets loud. It's kind of scary, actually. I'm only 34. But I got to focus on what I can be grateful for. If I dwell on that, it's going to get worse. And so I'm trying to, focus on gratitude, gratefulness, things I have rather than things I don't. Daily cooking tip. The simplest thing that I don't do enough, because it takes a little bit of time, but take your butter out of the fridge, or even better, keep it on the counter because it melts even faster, and then melt it in a small pot, add a little bit of salt and or herbs, and then pour it over your meal. Healthy, delicious, nutritious fat, and the easiest way to flavor a meal without some store-bought condiment crap. Daily thoughts about money. Focusing your spending on investments. And I don't mean just buying stocks or bonds or real estate. I mean, when you buy something, is it going to be an investment? If I'm going to buy a really good mic or a screen or whatever like this, and I need it for this show, for me, this is an investment. If I'm going to go to Europe for 2 weeks after college because I think it's going to change my life, that's an investment. When you buy things that make you just feel good temporarily and then fade, pair of shoes, designer things, all that crap that billions and billions of dollars are wasted on every single year, those aren't investments. Those are just temporary feel good, whatever. And the way they work is you buy it, you feel good for a bit, and then you want something else. So that's not how you should spend. You should be focusing on things that can generate a return and that are going to be meaningful and impactful over the long run. That's going to be it for today's show. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, comment, do those things. If you want to reach me, Colin at wildfoods.co, and I will see you in the next one.